If you thought part one changed how you see money, part two might just change how you see yourself. Welcome back to the deep dive. You're here because you're not just chasing financial freedom, you're building it. One decision, one habit, one strategy at a time. In this episode, we're continuing our breakdown of the 17 money lessons that most people never learn. And if you're serious about wealth, you can't afford to ignore them. We'll explore why wealth and income are not the same thing, how to bounce back from financial mistakes without shame, and why designing your dream lifestyle comes before any budgeting app or side hustle. Because the truth is, money isn't just about numbers. It's about mindset, systems, resilience, and purpose. So whether you're 17 or 37, grab your notes, turn off distractions, and let's get into the real game of wealth building. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. You're here because you're ready to take serious control of your financial future, and that's exactly what we're going to help you do today.
Definitely.
You've provided a fantastic range of sources, and our mission is simple. Extract the absolute key lessons for building lasting financial well-being. This isn't just about the basics. We're diving into strategies that can, truly shift your financial trajectory for the long haul.
It's exciting material, yeah. And what really stood out to me is how directly it addresses a core frustration many of you share. That feeling of being bombarded and, frankly, overwhelmed by financial noise.
Oh, totally.
There's just so much information out there, often conflicting, especially online, right? So this deep dive is really designed to cut through that confusion and deliver clear, actionable insights that you can put to use, like, right away.
Absolutely. We're going to be looking at some of what one of your sources called the unvarnished truths about money, alongside really practical steps you can take. Think about understanding how inflation quietly erodes your wealth, or even more fundamentally, how the life you truly want to build should be the compass for all your financial decisions.
That's a big one.
Yeah, this isn't just about pinching pennies. It's about creating a holistic, robust plan for a secure and, most importantly, a fulfilling future. Okay, so let's jump straight into a force that's constantly at play, often without us even noticing its impact.
Right. And that's inflation, often described as the silent thief of your wealth.
Ooh.
Scary. Yeah. What's particularly insightful across these sources is the consistent emphasis on how inflation subtly but steadily diminishes the purchasing power of your money over time. One source used a great analogy. Imagine tiny financial termites constantly nibbling away at your savings.
Financial termites. I like that. It paints a picture. And the numbers really bring the gravity of this home, don't they?
They really do.
We're looking at an average inflation rate of around, 2 to 3% per year in developed economies? Now, that might seem small on the surface, but here's where it gets really interesting. It has a compounding effect. So, at a 3% annual inflation rate, the actual value of your money can be cut in half in roughly 24 years.
Wow, half.
Yeah, that's a significant chunk of your hard-earned savings losing its buying power.
It's a stark illustration of why simply letting money sit in certain types of accounts can be, detrimental in the long run. The sources rightly highlight the real risk of holding substantial amounts in low-interest savings accounts where the returns don't even keep pace with inflation.
Right, you're basically losing ground.
Exactly. As one source pointed out, if you're earning, say, 0.5% interest while inflation is at 3%, you're effectively losing 2.5% in purchasing power each year. It's like running on a treadmill. You're working hard, but not actually moving forward.
Ouch. So what does this all boil down to for you? Well, the sources are clear. Investing isn't really a luxury if you want to build wealth. It's almost a necessity just to maintain your current purchasing power.
You need to be aiming for what's called real returns.
Real returns. Okay, explain that.
That's just your investment returns after you subtract the rate of inflation. So if your investments grow by 7%, but inflation is 3%, your real gain in purchasing power is only 4%. That's the number that matters for actually getting ahead.
Got it. And it's crucial to recognize that inflation's bite isn't felt equally by everyone, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
The sources point out how it can disproportionately impact those on fixed incomes, like many retirees, and those who keep a large portion of their wealth in cash. Their money simply buys less and less over time.
That makes sense.
And beyond just that slow erosion, think about sudden inflation spikes. They can really hit your ability to afford essentials like food and energy.
Yeah, we've seen that recently.
Definitely. It just underscores the importance of not just investing, but diversifying into assets that tend to hold their value during those periods, things like certain commodities or inflation-protected securities.
Okay, so practical steps. What can you actually do about this inflation termite problem?
Well, the sources offer some really concrete ideas. They talk about investing in assets that have historically outpaced inflation. Stocks, real estate, those inflation-protected securities we just mentioned.
Okay.
They also highlight the importance of actively working to increase your learning potential. That could be through education, learning new skills, or even starting a side hustle.
Makes sense. Earn more to combat rising prices.
Exactly. And the clear message is to be very mindful about keeping too much of your wealth in cash for extended periods. Just diligently saving in a low-yield account isn't enough. You need to actively grow your money at a rate that outstrips inflation's relentless advance.
That's a fundamental insight, and leads us nicely into the next crucial area, really understanding your own financial foundation.
Yes, and what's particularly insightful here is the analogy one source uses, comparing financial illiteracy to trying to navigate a foreign country without understanding the language or even the basic road signs. You're kind of lost.
I love that analogy. It really resonates. You wouldn't do that, would you? And to navigate your financial world effectively, the sources emphasize the absolute necessity of understanding basic financial statements. They break it down into 3 key statements that might sound intimidating, but are actually quite straightforward and honestly incredibly powerful tools.
Exactly. First, there's the net worth statement, sometimes called the balance sheet.
Okay.
Think of this as a snapshot of your financial health at a specific point in time, like taking a financial selfie.
Huh? A financial selfie. I like
Yeah.
it.
It's calculated by taking everything you own that has value your assets and subtracting everything you owe your liabilities.
It's simple enough.
And the sources are very clear. Your net worth is the most accurate measure of your wealth, much more so than just your income or the car you drive.
Right. Assets minus liabilities equals net worth. Got it. And the key goal here is,
For that number to steadily increase over time, that's the main thing. It's like regularly checking the health of your financial engine to make sure it's running smoothly and getting stronger.
okay, makes sense. What's the second statement?
The second key statement is the cash flow statement, sometimes called the income statement.
Okay.
This tracks the money flowing into your life, your income from all sources, and the money flowing out your expenses over a specific period, like a month.
Income versus outgo.
Exactly. And the sources clearly point out the critical danger sign: consistently spending more money than you earn. It doesn't matter how high your income is. If you're regularly in a negative cash flow situation, you're essentially digging yourself into a deeper financial hole.
Right. And to really get a handle on that cash flow, what do they recommend?
They strongly recommend breaking down your expenses into different categories. This process helps you gain a clear picture of where your money is actually going. You might be surprised.
I bet. It's easy to lose track.
Totally. It's all about gaining awareness and control over your spending habits.
Okay, so net worth, cash flow. What's the third one?
Finally, we have the budget. Now, unlike the net worth and cash flow statements, which look back or at a single point, a budget is forward-looking.
Ah, the plan.
It's a proactive plan for how you intend to allocate your money in the future. The sources emphasize that a well-crafted budget essentially gives every single dollar a specific job before you even spend it.
Giving dollars jobs. I like that framing. It sounds less restrictive than just budgeting.
Exactly. It's not necessarily about strict restriction. Rather, it's about intentionally directing your financial resources towards the things that are truly important to you.
Absolutely. It's about being in the driver's seat with your finances, making conscious choices instead of just reacting to where your money seems to disappear. And the sources offer a really practical piece of advice. Review these 3 key statements: net worth, cash flow, budget at least once a month.
Yeah, they suggest setting aside just about 30 minutes to do this regular check-in. It's not a huge time commitment.
30 minutes a month, that's doable.
And what's particularly noteworthy is the assertion that this simple monthly review can put you ahead of the vast majority of people when it comes to financial awareness and control.
Wow.
By regularly asking yourself key questions like, is my net worth growing? Is my cash flow positive? Am I sticking to my budget? You're actively taking charge. The fundamental principle here, as one source powerfully states, is what gets measured gets managed.
What gets measured gets managed. That makes total sense. You can't improve what you don't track.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
simply cannot improve what you don't consistently track and understand.
Okay, so we understand the power of tracking. But let's be honest, consistently making those sound financial decisions,
Yeah.
that can be tough, right? With daily pressures and temptations.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where our next key takeaway comes into play. The often underestimated power of automation.
Automation, taking the human element out of it.
Kind of. The sources offer some really insightful perspectives here, acknowledging that as humans, we're all susceptible to inconsistencies when managing money, emotions, cloud judgment, distractions, derail plans, procrastination.
Guilty.
We all are, and that constant pull of instant gratification can easily lead us astray.
It's so true. You start with the best intentions, a solid plan, then life happens, or that shiny new thing appears.
Right. So what practical solution do the sources propose? Automation. They position it as a highly effective way to essentially bypass our inherent human weaknesses by setting up reliable systems that operate on autopilot.
Like having a robot manage your money.
Huh. Sort of.
Yeah.
One source cleverly describes it as creating a sort of responsible financial twin who isn't swayed by impulse buys or prone to forgetting important financial tasks.
Or responsible financial twin. I need one of those. So how do we actually set up this automatic ally?
Okay, several key steps.
Yep.
First, automate your income with direct deposit. Most people do this already. But the real magic happens next. Immediately after each payday, set up automatic transfers. Move specific amounts to your various goals: savings, investments, extra debt payments.
So it happens before you even see it in your main account.
Exactly. The core idea is to pay yourself first. Your savings and investment goals get prioritized right from the start. The money you've earmarked never even lands where you're tempted to spend it.
It's like it disappears in a good way. Out of sight, out of mind.
Precisely. What you don't readily see, you're much less likely to spend impulsively. Beyond savings and investments, they also strongly recommend automating bill payments to avoid late fees.
Oh, yeah. Those are killer.
And, crucially, automate your credit card payments to pay the full balance each month. Avoid those wealth-eroding interest charges at all costs.
Full balance, not minimum payment. Key distinction.
Absolutely key. And for long-term wealth building, they also highlight automating regular investments. This ensures consistency and lets you benefit from dollar-cost averaging.
Right, dollar cost averaging. Can you briefly explain that again?
Sure, it just means investing a fixed amount of money at regular intervals, say monthly, regardless of the price. So you buy more shares when the price is low and fewer when it's high. It smooths out your purchase price over time and reduces risk.
Okay, makes sense. And the impact of automation is actually measurable.
Oh yeah, the statistics are quite compelling. Sources highlight that people who automate their savings actually save more than twice as much as those who rely solely on willpower.
Wow, double.
And the crucial insight is it's not necessarily about more discipline, it's the power of the system itself working consistently in the background.
It's a one-time setup for ongoing benefits. Put in the effort once, and it works for you continuously.
Exactly. It's a fundamental shift from relying on our often unreliable willpower to building effective, dependable financial systems.
Okay, powerful stuff. Moving on to something that's, well, a certainty in almost everyone's financial life.
Ah, yes, taxes. Yeah, the sources are remarkably direct about this. They assert that for most individuals, taxes will likely represent the single largest expense they incur over their entire lifetime.
Wow. Bigger than mortgage? Student loans?
Potentially, yes. It can outweigh all of those, plus all your daily spending habits combined over decades.
That's a sobering realization. And what's striking is the contrast the sources draw.
Between how much attention we give to saving, like $1 on coffee, versus how little we often understand about legally minimizing our tax burden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It seems like our priorities are sometimes misaligned.
For sure. And the sources make a very important distinction here. Illegal tax evasion is obviously a big no-no with serious consequences.
Right. Don't do that.
But complete illegal tax avoidance is different. It's simply structuring your finances to legitimately minimize your tax obligations within the existing legal framework. It's smart, not criminal.
Okay, legal tax avoidance. What are some concrete examples the sources give?
Well, they strongly emphasize contributing to tax-advantaged retirement accounts like 401ks or Roth IRAs. The money often grows tax-deferred or even tax-free. That's huge savings over time.
Right, taking advantage of those accounts.
Definitely. They also highlight diligently tracking all legitimate business expenses. If you have any side income, freelancing, gig work, selling stuff online, Those deductions directly reduce your taxable income.
So keep good records if you have a side hustle.
Absolutely. And it's crucial to understand the difference between a tax deduction, which lowers your taxable income, and a tax credit, which directly reduces the tax you owe. Credits are generally more valuable.
Deduction versus credit. Got it. Seems complicated, though. Do you need to be a tax expert?
Not at all. The sources emphasize you don't need deep knowledge of the entire tax code. Just focus on the parts relevant to you and understand basic concepts. That alone can lead to considerable savings.
Okay, that's empowering.
Yeah, and they offer a compelling illustration. Two people earning the same income, but one uses tax strategies and the other doesn't. The savvy one keeps significantly more money. It's not just what you earned, it's what you keep.
That makes perfect sense. So what's the advice on getting help?
Utilize free online tax resources and consider getting a qualified tax professional, especially as your income or situation gets more complex.
Yeah.
Think of their fee as an investment, not just an expense. It often pays for itself many times over.
Right. As one source said, the real flex is how much you keep after taxes.
Exactly. That's the bottom line.
All right, let's shift focus now to something that underpins, well, everything, including our ability to earn and manage money.
And that's our health. The sources make a very strong case for viewing your health as your absolute most valuable asset.
More valuable than my stock portfolio.
Potentially, yes. It has profound and often underestimated financial implications. It's something we know intuitively, but maybe don't always prioritize in financial discussions.
It's so true. We focus on accounts and investments, but without good health.
Oh, what's the
Like, and financially.
Financially, it can be devastating. The sources really underscore the potential for financial ruin from major health problems, even with insurance.
Yeah.
A big health crisis can wipe out savings incredibly fast.
Yeah, deductibles, co-pays, uncovered costs. It adds up.
And what's insightful is the cost-benefit comparison. Investing in preventative health, a gym membership, healthier food, even meditation apps, is often dramatically cheaper in the long run than treating preventable chronic conditions later.
Prevention is cheaper than cure. Makes sense.
It's truly an investment in your future financial stability and your well-being. Like that early investment analogy, small, consistent investments now yield massive returns down the line.
And they also talk about the direct impact on earning potential, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chronic illness, burnout, even mental health issues like stress and anxiety,
Okay.
they directly impact your productivity, your ability to work, and therefore your income.
And the time costs, too.
Exactly. Managing chronic conditions takes time. Doctor's appointments, treatments, time you could be using to build your career or side hustles, or just enjoy life.
Interestingly, the sources point out that many wealthy individuals are, like, obsessed with their health.
Yeah, it's often linked to productivity and longevity. They understand that staying healthy means they can work effectively for longer and actually enjoy their wealth for longer too.
So it's not just vanity.
Not at all. And the advice isn't about expensive biohacking stuff either. The sources give really practical, low-cost examples. Walking regularly, basic meditation, drinking enough water, prioritizing sleep.
The basics.
The absolute basics. They emphasize the potentially astronomical ROI of these simple habits. Think of your body like a car, neglect basic maintenance, and it will break down eventually no matter how much money you have.
Great analogy. Okay, now we're going to explore something that might seem a bit counterintuitive, especially when you're focused on building your own security.
Right, and that's the fascinating paradox of generosity.
Giving money away when you feel like you don't have enough.
Exactly. The sources acknowledge the understandable skepticism. Shouldn't I get my own house in order first?
Yeah.
It's a natural thought,
Yeah, absolutely.
but they present a compelling counterargument. Regular giving, even small amounts, is often correlated with greater financial success and well-being over time. It's like this unexpected positive feedback loop.
How does that work? Giving leading to getting.
Several interesting mechanisms. First, connection. Giving to causes connects you to communities, and those connections can lead to unexpected opportunities, collaborations, support.
Networking through giving.
Sort of, yeah. Second, it shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Focusing on what you can give helps you spot opportunities rather than dwelling on lack.
That makes sense. A scarcity mindset is definitely limiting. What else?
Reputation. Being known as generous and supportive builds a positive footprint, attracting positive interactions. People want to work with and help givers.
Good karma, basically.
You can say that. And finally, the practical bit. Tax benefits. Charitable donations are often tax deductible, so you can support causes you value and potentially lower your tax bill.
Okay, connection, mindset, reputation, tax breaks. That's quite a few potential benefits, and they suggest starting small.
Yes, definitely. Start small, maybe just 1% of your income. And broadening your definition of giving it can be time, skills, amplifying causes online.
Not just cash.
Right. They share an anecdote of a content creator whose charitable work actually led to increased engagement and brand deals, boosting their own income. It shows how money, viewed as energy, needs to flow. Stagnation isn't good. Circulation can multiply returns.
Interesting perspective. Okay, let's get back to structure. How can we organize our money in a simple way?
Ah, yes, the 3 buckets approach to financial planning.
3 buckets. Sounds manageable.
It is. The sources acknowledge traditional planning can feel overwhelming, so this is a simpler, more intuitive model.
Okay, break down the buckets for us. Bucket 1.
Bucket 1 is the safety bucket. This is non-negotiable. Its purpose is peace of mind.
Okay, what goes in it?
Your emergency fund, ideally 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses, also money for insurance deductibles and regular predictable bills. The goal here isn't growth, it's security. It stops you from panicking or going into debt when unexpected stuff happens.
Your financial cushion? Makes sense. Bucket 2.
The second is the growth bucket. This is for building long-term wealth through investments.
The investing part.
Exactly. Money goes here for things like diversified index funds, maybe a small slice for higher risk things if you're comfortable, or reinvesting in a side business. This money has a longer time horizon to grow, leveraging compounding.
So this is for future goals, like a house, retirement.
Precisely. House deposit, travel funds, early retirement, that's what the growth bucket fuels. Remember, index funds track a market, offering diversification, while ETFs are similar but can be more focused.
Okay, safety, growth. What's left?
Bucket 3, the lifestyle bucket. This covers your day-to-day living and enjoyable spending.
The fun money.
Basically, yeah. Dining out, hobbies, concerts, travel, clothes, all that stuff. The key here is conscious spending. Make sure it aligns with your values and actually brings you joy, not just mindless frittering.
Conscious spending. Important distinction. And these buckets, they're all connected, right?
Absolutely interconnected. If your lifestyle bucket is overflowing while safety and growth are empty, you're setting yourself up for stress. Neglect growth, and you jeopardize your future goals.
This balancing act.
Definitely. And they mention a power move when your income increases.
Oh yeah, what's that?
When you get a raise or your side hustle takes off, resist the urge to immediately inflate your lifestyle. Instead, prioritize filling up the safety and growth buckets first.
Delay the lifestyle creep.
Exactly. That accelerates your progress towards long-term goals much faster. And this whole framework applies at any income level. The percentages might shift, but the principle of the 3 buckets remains the same.
Okay, that's a really clear and actionable framework. Safety, growth, lifestyle. Got it. Now let's talk about something that can really mess with our heads financially.
Ah, the comparison trap. It's driven by social media.
Oh yeah, it's brutal out there.
It really is. The sources highlight how platforms like Instagram and TikTok often present these highly curated, often unrealistic depictions of wealth and spending.
The luxury apartment tours, the what I spend in a week videos showing nonstop consumption.
Yeah.
It's hard not to feel like you're falling behind.
It is. But the sources astutely point out you're almost never seeing the full picture.
Right. What's hidden?
Could be massive debt, family money, multiple undisclosed income streams, or maybe they just rented that fancy car for the photo shoot and returned it.
Huh, probably.
It creates this insidious pressure to keep up spending money you don't have on things you don't need to impress people who, frankly, probably don't care that much anyway.
So true. So what's the antidote?
The fundamental truth. Personal finance is personal. Your journey is unique. Your starting point, goals, values, circumstances. Therefore, the only comparison that holds any real meaning is comparing yourself to your past self.
That's liberating. Focus on your own progress.
Exactly. Are you better off than 6 months ago? Did you increase your savings rate? Reduce impulse spending? Start investing, even small amounts? Learn something new? Those are the meaningful metrics.
Yeah, track your own wins.
They share a great anecdote. Someone driving an older car while peers lease luxury vehicles. It's less successful, right? But behind the scenes, they're crushing their investment goals, while the others are drowning in lease payments. Appearances versus reality.
Love that. So define your own success metrics.
Exactly. What matters to you? Saving for a sabbatical, covering rent with a side hustle, not stressing about bills. Track that. Celebrate your milestones, big or small.
Like taking a screenshot of your first investment.
Yes. Document your debt reduction. Those are your wins. As the sources say, your financial path is as unique as your social media feed. Focus on your own journey.
Great advice. Now, let's face another inevitability. Financial mistakes. We all make them, right?
Oh, absolutely. The sources are refreshingly realistic. Mistakes aren't just possible, they're pretty much guaranteed for everyone at some point.
Like what kind of mistakes?
Panic selling investments, getting locked into an unaffordable lease, forgetting subscriptions, bad loans, falling for scams.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, been there.
And the crucial differentiator isn't if you make mistakes, but how you respond and recover. That's financial resilience.
Financial resilience. Okay, how do we build that?
Several components. First, practical resilience. Having the basics in place, emergency fund, diversification, living below your means so one mistake doesn't wreck everything.
Their safety net.
Exactly. Second, psychological resilience. Separating your self-worth from your net worth. A money mistake doesn't make you a bad person. Practice self-compassion, avoid shame spirals.
That's huge. It's easy to beat yourself up.
It's so easy. And third is learning resilience, treating errors as learning opportunities. Analyze what happened, why it happened, extract the lesson, adjust your strategy, maybe even share it.
Turn setbacks into setups for future success.
You got it. They share a personal story about blowing a freelance check instead of saving for taxes. Classic mistake, valuable lesson learned. The key is acknowledge it, learn thoroughly, move forward. Don't let one mistake define your journey.
Like learning a dance, keep the rhythm even after a misstep.
Fantastic analogy. Okay, now let's clarify a distinction that often causes confusion.
Rich versus wealthy.
Exactly. They're not the same thing.
Okay, break it down.
Income is the flow of money, your paycheck. Side hustle earnings, like Spotify streams. Wealth is your net worth assets minus liabilities, the accumulated reservoir, like owning the Spotify platform itself.
Flow versus accumulation. So you could have high income but low wealth.
Absolutely. High earners spending everything, or more, isn't building wealth. They're on a treadmill. Contrast that with someone on a lower income who saves and invests consistently. They are building true wealth, even if it's less flashy.
Right. The sources mention that influencer example.
Yeah, the one projecting luxury but went broke when the income stopped. Classic case of high income, zero wealth, zero resilience. Whereas a low-key person with a solid portfolio has options, security.
So wealth provides resilience that income alone doesn't.
Precisely. High income helps build wealth, but only if you convert it into assets. Spending it all keeps you stuck. True wealth gives you choices when storms hit.
So track both income and net worth, but focus more on growing the network.
That's the key. Your savings rate, the percentage you save and invest, often has a bigger impact on wealth building than income alone. Income is views. Wealth is owning the platform.
Great distinction. Okay, now let's connect this all back to our personal values and aspirations.
Yes, the concept of lifestyle design. This challenges the traditional advice that just says maximize your bank account.
So it's not just about the money.
It starts before the money. It starts with defining the life you genuinely want.
How do you do that?
Ask deeper questions. What work fulfills you? How much flexibility do you need? Where do you thrive? What are your core values? Your honest answers should drive your financial priorities.
So if freedom is key, maybe freelance makes sense even if it pays less initially.
Exactly. Like the example of the creator who left a soul-crushing job for freelance work. They prioritized happiness over maximum income. It requires honest self-reflection. Are you chasing your goals or someone else's?
Good question. Many chase goals based on external expectations.
For sure. The sources even suggest a personal balance sheet of non-financial assets. Time, health, relationships, purpose. Make financial choices that protect those too, even if it doesn't maximize income.
Wow, that's profound.
Ultimately, money is a tool to serve your life design, not define it. True success is an authentic, fulfilling life.
Money as a tool. Love that. Okay, let's circle back to a strategy we mentioned because it's just so effective.
Automation. Yes, it's crucial. The sources revisit it because it works.
Relying on willpower is like unreliable public Wi-Fi, right? Perfect analogy. It's just not dependable. Automation is like setting up reliable filters for your finances. Set the rules, and the system works without constant effort.
And the process again is
Direct deposit, then immediate automatic transfers on payday to savings, investments, debt. Pay yourself first.
And the stats show automated savers save.
More than double. Again, it's the system, not just willpower. They share an example of a friend who automated, then adjusted spending naturally, leading to huge savings without feeling deprived.
And you can start small, right?
Absolutely. Start with a comfortable percentage, increase it gradually, use Roundup apps, set rules for unexpected income bonuses, refunds, automate saving those too.
It bypasses our psychological weaknesses, saves money before we can spend it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The best strategy is the one that sticks, and automation makes consistency so much easier.
Agreed. Consistency is king.
Okay.
Okay, next foundational element, your credit score. Your financial profile or money reputation.
That 3-digit number that affects so much: rentals, loans.
Interest rates, sometimes even jobs. A good score saves you thousands in interest over your lifetime. It's fundamental, but often poorly understood.
So what determines it?
Main things are payment history, pay bills on time, credit utilization, how much credit you're using versus your limit, length of credit history, and types of credit you have.
And building it takes time.
Yes, like any reputation, it requires consistent positive behavior.
Fastest way to build it.
Get a credit card,
Yeah.
secured if needed. Use it for small, regular purchases you'd make anyway, and crucially, pay the full balance off every single month. Don't carry a balance. That's a myth.
Full balance every month. Got it. And having no credit can be bad too.
Yes. Like the person denied an apartment for having no credit history, it can be as limiting as bad credit.
So use credit responsibly to build a history. How do you track it?
Use free credit monitoring apps. They make it easy to see your score and what's impacting it.
And the biggest score killers to avoid.
Late payments. Set up autopay. Maxing out cards. Aim for under 30% utilization. And applying for too much new credit too quickly.
Okay. It's a tool, not a measure of worth, but a tool worth managing.
Exactly. It's a passive, low-cost investment in your future financial flexibility.
Definitely. Now let's shift to generating income beyond a traditional job.
Passive income streams.
Yeah.
Trading time for money is, as one source put it, so last century. True growth involves earning while you sleep.
Sounds amazing. Is it accessible, though?
Absolutely. It's not just for the rich. The digital age offers more opportunities than ever. Passive income just means regular earnings without constant active work, though there's usually upfront effort.
Okay, practical examples. How can someone start?
Lots of ways. Digital products, create once, sell repeatedly, templates, guides, courses, like the person selling budget spreadsheets monthly.
Nice. What else?
Content creation, build a backlog on YouTube or a blog generating ad affiliate revenue over time. Investments, dividends, interest index fund returns accessible now with fractional shares starting with just a few dollars.
So investing itself is a passive stream.
Definitely. Also, print-on-demand dropshipping, sell products without handling inventory, renting out assets you own, car, spare room, equipment, affiliate marketing, earning commissions by recommending stuff you trust.
Lots of options. The key seems to be the upfront work.
Exactly. Start small, be patient. It takes time to build, but the scalability is huge. The goal isn't necessarily to quit your job tomorrow, but to build resilience and freedom through independent streams.
Patience. That leads us perfectly to the next point. Building wealth requires it, right?
Absolutely. Real wealth building clashes directly with our instant gratification culture. Sustainable wealth is built slowly, steadily, through compound interest.
Einstein's eighth wonder of the world, money-making babies.
That then make more babies.
Exactly.
Earning returns on your returns. It's exponential. Give that powerful example. Investing monthly from age 20 versus age 30 makes a massive difference by retirement because of those extra 10 years of compounding.
Time is your greatest asset in investing.
Absolutely. And ignore the hype about overnight riches from crypto or whatever. True investors think in decades. They know markets fluctuate. They don't panic sell.
So how do you cultivate that patience?
Automate investments so you don't have to think about it. Check accounts less often quarterly, not daily. Focus on the process, not short-term noise. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. Time in the market beats timing the market.
Great reminder. Okay, let's get a bit philosophical. What can't money solve?
Important question. The sources are clear. Money has limitations. It doesn't fix mental health, give you purpose, mend relationships, or create self-love.
Despite society often telling us more money equals more happiness.
Right. Money solves money problems. It reduces stress, creates opportunities, absolutely. But it doesn't guarantee overall well-being. Remember, hedonic adaptation happiness tends to return to a baseline anyway.
So money matters for basic needs and reducing stress, but it's not a cure-all.
Exactly. Don't expect it to fix non-financial issues. They share that story of the person who got rich, but ended up burned out and alone. Money didn't buy back health or relationships.
So pursue financial health alongside other areas, physical, mental, relationships, purpose.
Yes, strive for a balanced, holistic approach. Use money intentionally as a tool, but work on the other stuff too.
Wise words. Now let's tackle that myth. Investing is only for rich people.
Total myth. The sources hammer this home. Starting early with small amounts is way more impactful than investing larger amounts later.
Because of compounding.
Exactly. And the barriers are so low now. Apps let you start with $1, buy fractional shares, pay zero commissions.
So anyone can start.
Anyone. Micro-investing apps, index funds for diversification, ETFs for themes, it's all accessible. They share a story of a recent grad starting small weekly investments, seeing significant growth despite student loans and an entry-level salary.
That's encouraging. Just get started.
Right. Don't be intimidated by jargon. The core principle is simple. Buy low-cost, diversified investments regularly. Hold long-term. The biggest risk for young investors is often not being in the market. Time is on your side. Wealthy people got wealthy by investing. You don't need to be rich to start.
Powerful. Okay, what about saving for specific bigger goals? Not retirement, but like a house down payment.
Strategic saving for major milestones. Yeah, that needs a slightly different approach. These are medium-term goals with specific costs and timelines. Down payment, big trip, business launch, wedding.
And the key is prioritizing.
Yes. Focus on one key milestone at a time. Trying to save small amounts for multiple big goals at once is often ineffective. Get clear on the main goal.
Like the sabbatical example. Okay, then what?
Work backward. Goal amount, timeline, calculate the required monthly savings, break it down daily equivalent, like the cost of a coffee, make it feel less daunting.
And use dedicated accounts.
Definitely. Set up a separate savings account for each milestone. Prevents accidental spending, helps track progress. Look for high-yield options for these.
They mentioned a savings ladder.
Yeah, for longer-term milestones. Maybe start in high-yield savings, then as the date nears, gradually move some funds to slightly higher return but still safe investments. Adjust risk as you get closer.
And automate the transfers, of course.
Always automate.
Right.
Consider side hustles specifically for milestone funding. And celebrate progress along the way. Visualize the goal, track it. Strategic saving makes big dreams achievable.
Love that. Okay, let's quickly touch on tailoring advice to different careers, traditional employee versus freelancer versus entrepreneur.
Right. One size fits all doesn't work. Needs differ.
So quick tips for each. Traditional employee.
Maximize employer benefits. 401k match. Solid emergency fund 3 to 6 months. Automate savings. Consider strategic job hopping for raises.
Freelancers, big workers. Income is variable.
Bigger emergency fund, 6-12 months. Create your own salary system. Pay yourself consistently. Set aside 30% for taxes immediately. Explore health insurance options.
Entrepreneurs, small business owners.
Separate personal business finances strictly. Pay yourself a salary. Reinvest profits strategically. Explore tax-saving business structures, LLC, S-Corp. Build business credit.
And content creators, influencers. Also variable income.
Diversify income streams. Don't rely on one platform. Save aggressively during high-earning periods. Create evergreen content. Budget for equipment. Get professional tax help. It gets complex.
Like that travel creator, saving hard during viral periods. Build systems for stability.
Exactly. Create stability amidst uncertainty. That's the key for non-traditional paths.
Brilliant. Okay, final point, the power of community.
Yes, your financial community. Your social circle massively influences your habits, knowledge, beliefs about what's possible.
If everyone around you has bad money habits.
It's hard to break free. So deliberately expand your circle. Include people supportive of your goals, people with healthy habits. Doesn't mean ditching old friends, just adding new influences.
Where do you find these people?
Start online Reddit forums like Her Personal Finance, Discord servers, follow positive creators. But also seek intimate connections. Find a money buddy for accountability. Join or start a money club for shared learning.
Mentors.
Yes. Seek mentors further along. Ask specific questions. Use community resources, financial coaching, credit union workshops. Like that finance and wine night example, shared learning and encouragement led to real change.
It normalizes healthy behavior.
Precisely. You become the average of the financial mindsets you're exposed to. Choose wisely.
Wow. What an incredibly insightful and comprehensive set of lessons we've uncovered today. From inflation's silent bite to designing a life you value. Just so much there.
Absolutely. We hit on tracking finances, the power of automation, health as wealth, the paradox of generosity.
The 3 buckets: avoiding comparisons, resilience after mistakes, income versus wealth, tailoring plans, patience, and community. It really is a holistic journey.
It really is. Building lasting well-being isn't a quick fix. It takes ongoing learning and consistent action.
So the most important takeaway is
Just start. Take small, consistent steps. Financial independence is a process. Compare yourself only to your past self. Are you moving forward?
Thank you for listening. If this episode resonated with you, the best way to support the podcast is to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Every bit of support helps us keep creating content that actually matters. See you in the next one.